and welcome to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast. Nick, emphasis on the. I don't know why.
I like how you did that with your hands.
You better watch on YouTube to see this incredible acting skill. But Nick, it's a brand new week. Lots of great things are happening. Mm-hmm. How the heck are you? What's new with you? Tell me everything. Spill the tea.
Spill the tea. I am doing really well at the moment. I'm on a little bit of a shooting hiatus where we shot at the end of August, and our next one isn't until October 1st, and so we're kind of in the thralls of a month of, hey, we're just gonna take the time off and chill. We only have 2 weddings in October, and then I'll have another one until December. So it's kind of just hang out through the holidays. I mean, John and I have some plans. We're going to Venture, and then we're filming some other stuff. And I mean, it's going to be busy. But from like the wedding work that we have, it's kind of chill and relax. Kids are in school in full swing and getting our school year schedule down, where we work all day. I've been going, okay. So I hired a trainer in like May, like a long time ago. And I kind of was following the stuff, and I'm paying this guy, and I'm kind of following it, but I wasn't really doing it. But like when I got back at the end of August, I was like, okay, time to get serious. And so for the last couple weeks, I've been really serious. I wake up with my daughter every morning at 6 o'clock to get her ready for school. And then 3 days a week, I head to the gym right after that. So like, I'm getting this routine, getting my food stuff down. I'm feeling good.
Your voice sounds much more sexy.
It does.
I don't know
It's, whenever you work out and eat right, it helps the tone of your voice.
Yeah. Podcasters know. If you know, you know.
Yeah. What about you? I know you're kind of doing something similar too.
Yeah. I mean, I eating clean, exercising, that kind of stuff. It's been going well. Like life is feeling good. School's back in session for the kids. I'm at home 5 days a week and I can work and stuff. Last weekend though, Nick, I filmed a wedding.
You did.
The couple spent several $100,000 on the wedding, which was very neat. But I was the very first vendor that they booked. And she even posted that on her Instagram, like, this is the reason why he's the first person that I booked. And, like, they spent a lot on me. I was there for a few days. They spent a ton on their flower budget. They spent a ton. Like, it was great that they spent a ton of money, but even better that, like, I'd filmed her brother's wedding. I knew the family. I got to spend the weekend with them. And it was just, like, one of those things where I worked so hard, but I left that wedding feeling rejuvenated. And I'm realizing that is most all of the weddings that I've shot this year are those kinds of people, those kinds of couples. And I don't know, I leave feeling rejuvenated outside of one mishap, which I don't know what happened, but I was flying my drone. Rest in peace. Everyone pour a little out for my drone because it's gone. Whatever you're drinking, just pour a little out. So I'm flying my drone. I get to this venue, like they had a breakfast for everybody. Like 5 hours before I was starting. This awesome brunch breakfast thing. So I went to it and ate, and the sun was just kind of rising. The venue looked perfect. I was like, I'm going to fly my drone now. It looks way better. So I started getting the most awesome, parallaxing, crazy good, 4K, beautiful footage. I'm filming around the venue, and then my camera just says no connection on the app. I didn't hear it. Didn't hit anything. It didn't and then say nothing. It just went away.
Your drone went to be with the Lord.
I walked around the venue, which took
away.
like 5 minutes. The battery wasn't dead. Nothing. I cannot find it. Nothing. It just was gone. So I had my second shooter bring his Mavic 2 Zoom, I don't know, whatever. And he filmed, looked up on top of the building to see if he could find it. Nowhere. We have no idea where it went. I called the venue. They haven't seen it. Anyway, drone is missing. Luckily, Nick had just bought me some other new drone. What is the drone that I have now?
The Air 2S.
Air 2S. So hopefully that's a step up from that. But I might be looking at that DJI Mini 3. Anyway, rest in pieces wherever you're at. And that happened, but the wedding was awesome. And, Nick, we're moving into now a season, like you said. I've got a couple more October. I got a wedding October 1st and 13th or something like that. And then December 17th, I have a wedding. So it's been really cool because you and I and our team, Blake and Austin and Jessica and Emma and Logan, we've been like really diving into what the future How to Film Weddings looks like. We have a lot of really new cool stuff coming. Hopefully you've been seeing our YouTube channel, all the free videos we're doing, all the free content. And Nick, I wanted to throw it over back to you since I've been talking for, I don't know, forever. What's coming up on our YouTube channel? Tell them about what's up in the next little bit.
Yeah. So today, as this releases, is on Monday. In just 3 days, on Thursday, in just a couple of days, on Thursday at 1 Central, John and I are going to dive into the world of wedding film reviews. So if you are interested in getting your film reviewed, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/film review. Really simple. howtofilmweddings.com/film review. Fill out the Google form, answer the questions. There's some stipulations on there that you will see on the form. But the idea is with it is, we want to sit down, watch your films, review them, give you positive feedback. But John and I have been talking, there's, Wedding Film School does a great job of reviewing films, and Matt Johnson does a great job of reviewing films. And so why do we want to just have another film review? So as John and I were talking, we wanted to do that as a service, but then we wanted to give there to be incentive for people to submit their best. And so John and I actually are going to have a little forum. We're going to be taking notes and rating your films. How was the dialogue editing? How was the sound effects? What was the color? What was the story? What was the pacing? Those kind of things. And then we haven't come up with a name with it yet, but we're going to do
say we have,
Rotten
just
Tomato.
We'll make it up later. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We totally already know this.
We totally have the name. But we're going to do a Rotten Tomatoes certified fresh badge. Something like that. Maybe a golden nugget or a golden crock pot. I don't know. We're coming up with something. But if your video gets certified as fresh or whatever, we will give you a badge that you can put on your website with that film and say it has been certified this, and we're going to give you some sort of discount. We haven't figured it out yet, but we're going to give you some sort of discount in our How to Film Weddings store if your video is certified.
And Nick,
golden nugget.
I love this idea. I love the idea of this. And like you said, we're good friends with Matt Johnson and with the guys over at Wedding Film School, and think that you should subscribe to them. Wedding film education is growing, and it's so cool to even think, Nick, in the last 5 years of us doing this, how many new faces have come up, and we just want to make it easier for you to grow. And that's our mission all the time. How can we get the industry to be elevated? And by sitting and watching, maybe you don't submit a film, but by sitting there and watching as we critique films, having the experience that we have, you're going to learn things, you're going to grow. And that's why we want to really do this. We're going to start doing this once a month. We've got a lot of extra incentives. We're going to be doing a lot of fun things. So if you don't, head on over to the How to Film Weddings YouTube channel and subscribe. We'll put a link in the show notes, of course. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you're already in the right place. But that'll be this Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Blake, our editor, is going to be there doing a bunch of wizardry stuff. Actually, Blake is with us today, just in the background as we're recording this, because we think that's cool. Blake, hi.
Hello, guys.
Yeah, Blake's
Blake,
here.
the editor/producer here.
Yeah, it's just so cool. We're really changing things. Anyway, we're really excited. And Nick, I want to kind of transition into talking about something that you and I have been talking about a lot lately.
Yeah.
And it's always kind of like a weird, fun balance that we have to do with How to Film Weddings, because we also sell things. We have our mastermind group. We have our course. But the conversation of spending money, investing into education, continuing education, even like YouTube videos, film reviews, yes, but the thing that I'm seeing as I've become part of different networking groups, or I'm around other people that are charging more money, is that the people that are paying to be educated and that get that are the ones that are now charging way more. And it's usually you pay now, maybe you join our mastermind group, or you buy a course or our course or whatever. You join a networking group, you go to a conference, you go to venture workshop. The people that are doing those things, when you fast forward 24, 36 months, they're the ones that are leading the charge. They're the ones that are charging more. Yes, Nick.
Can I be a case study for this for a second?
Yes.
We're talking about education, and so many of you have heard this story. We actually talked about it on our podcast last week. But when I met John, I was in that $2,500 to $3,000 range. Okay, in that range. This year, I booked, travel is included in that, but I have booked $13,000 package, $14,500, $16,000 packages this year 4.5, 5 years later after meeting John, because I was missing the mark on specifically sales and how I presented my stuff and how I talk. Like, my editing for me has always been a strong suit. I've learned a lot, obviously, but it's been something that has come more natural to me than the presentation selling side of things. And whenever I kind of merge those two things together, things have happened. And John's story is similar in the inverse, right? Where he was always really great at selling. He was always great at, just getting to know people. And you're okay. John's
That is
like,
where I excelled. Yes.
Yes. But since John got vulnerable and he was like, okay, how do I understand white balance? How do I understand sound design and mastering audio? And whenever he started learning about that stuff, he went from charging $8,000 to how much is your Puerto Vallarta one that you have booked for next year?
21,000 plus 7 days of travel and airfare. So
okay,
that's 21 plus the travel. Like add the yeah.
So what is the common denominator in what John has done in his business and what Jen and I have done in our business? What's the common denominator, John?
It's the continuing education and investing in ourselves. Like
learning.
That's really it.
Definitely.
Learning. Yeah, and I will say this too. Like last week, after like a long time of editing and working with my team, we released my Guatemala film. And if you haven't checked it out, please do. I'd love for you to hear it and see it. It's the first film that I've ever made that I'm like, I'm going to put that up for award. Like, I don't care if I win awards. I do care, but I don't care. I'll say that just to protect my feelings. But like, it's one of those things where it's like, people are commenting saying, this is the best wedding film I've ever seen. Nobody has ever said that about anything that I've made. And I'm not saying that like that's the only reason I'm doing it, but I'm seeing lots of comments from people that knew the bride and groom that are saying, this is the best, like this is unreal that this is a wedding film. This is so great. And I've been getting inquiries. I got 2 new really good inquiries this week because they saw that video. And like Nick said, when I first met him 4 or 5 years ago, I was averaging about $5,000 or $6,000, and I started really investing, especially into my shooting, my editing, my color grading, things like that. And like I've said it on the podcast before, but I think 3 or 4 or 5 months ago now, I hired Chris with Good Co Studios to do a mentor session with me, just showing me how to do scopes and how to understand color grading better. And sitting in our mastermind group, like Kaylin with White and Reverie did a big talk last year on color grading and the IREs and the like how to read certain things. And I didn't understand last year like what he was saying. I was trying to get there. I was like, okay, I get it. I'm understanding more, but I continually took those steps and got uncomfortable. And that's where I think most of us fail, is we don't get uncomfortable, and ever. Like the last time we got uncomfortable might have been in high school sports or in your high school drama club or your band, or it's usually high school. And those were the good old days for most people. And if you think about that, that correlates with the fact that once we stop having somebody that helps us to get uncomfortable every day, that's when we stop growing. And it might be uncomfortable to join a networking group or to join our mastermind group in January or to spend the money on a course from Eric Floberg or Matt Johnson or Forestry Films or us or whatever. It might be uncomfortable to sit on a live stream during your lunch hour and watch YouTube critiques. But what are you doing that's getting yourself into that uncomfortable zone? Because Nick, I'm sure that going to the gym the last few weeks hasn't been comfortable. As I sit here today, my arms are really sore from my workout a couple days ago. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. I don't like feeling hungry. I don't like a lot of these things. But the result of this work, the result of doing these things, I can't tell you how proud I am of the work that we put out and my team with Wedditor editing, Blake shooting, like all the, Ryan Coda doing sound design, all this stuff for this Guatemala film. Like
me supporting you from afar.
You supporting me, watching it through.
That might have been the most important piece of the entire puzzle.
Nick watched it through a couple times and gave me some really good feedback. And so it was this really getting vulnerable, you said,
I was
Nick.
talking about
you
being
really
in the
did.
United States and you being in Guatemala and
Blake and I sending you photos of us.
I was just
desserts in the
trying
pool.
to be funny. Yeah, I was just trying to be funny.
Nick and I have to tell you about one of our favorite places to upload our wedding films, and that is Love Stories TV. Love Stories TV is one of the best free resources for us wedding filmmakers. The best part is they are bringing the couples to us. All we have to do is upload our films and we are good to go. Upload unlimited wedding films to your completely free business page. Setup is easy and your films can be live in just minutes. Now is the perfect time to start uploading to Love Stories TV. So head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/lovestoriestv to check out all of the details and see how Love Stories TV is giving away $10,000 in cash to wedding filmmakers just like you. That's howtofilmweddings.com/lovestoriestv to start uploading and connecting with the right couples today.
One question that we see wedding filmmakers asking, what is the best site for licensing music? We have one answer, Musicbed. I have been exclusively using Musicbed since 2016 and our films are better because of it. I have been told during consultations that couples love our films because they feel raw, authentic, and that the music wasn't cheesy. Musicbed has a roster of incredibly talented musicians, bands, and composers who pour their hearts into their work, and you can hear the difference. Find the perfect song with Musicbed's intuitive search features like genre, mood, beats per minute, and key, which is probably my favorite of the search parameters. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed to do what I did and take your wedding films to the next level. Use promo code HTFW22 at checkout to receive 1 month free with the purchase of any annual subscription. That's howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed. Yeah, and another, so here's maybe an issue that spitballing here that I think maybe some people have when it comes to education. One, it's going to be it costs money. That's a roadblock for a lot of people. But it's that age-old thing where so many of us, like if you sit down and think about it, if you could spend $2,000 to make $100,000, everyone would take that 100% all the time. And that's the kind of stuff whenever you start investing in yourself that you are going to do. You spend X amount of money, and if you follow through with the things will happen. The problem is we have there's that financial, and you just don't know. Like, it's not a guarantee that you are going to make more money or those things. It's putting you on the right path. But the thing is that you have to do the work. And I think we live in a place, in a society where people want it done for them. I can't tell you, I clicked on one ad on TikTok and I am getting so many Amazon store done for you, Walmart store done for you. That's the world we live in, is we want someone to do the work for us and we want to make the money. Okay. And there's that part of it. And then I know whenever I get really inspired by someone speaking or a course that I've purchased or something, is I get totally overwhelmed in all of this new information. And now I sit back and I go, yeah, I'm depressed. I'm going to go play video games because it's so much stuff. And so one couple things that I want to say. One, really listen to the peers that you know in the industry when they say this is worth it. Okay. I hear that time and time again about David's 5K course. It is worth it. Do it. It is worth it. We have heard that about our course. We have heard that from Matt Johnson's editing. We have heard it from White and Reverie's Final Cut. There are so many people that it is worth it. Do it. Okay. Take what they're saying. The other thing is maybe don't try to be Superman about it and do everything at once. Okay. Find one thing and take one step. Because that's the thing, is we're kind of equating this to, John and I have been working out and stuff. That one workout that I did on Monday might make me feel good, but in the long run, if that's the only workout I did, it doesn't matter. What matters is me going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, week after week, also eating well, also just going on walk, doing all that stuff. And so it's the consistency over time that what really matters with this education stuff. So I know there are so many people, there's so much out there, I get so overwhelmed. Focus on one thing. I just had a lot of things come to me and it just kept flowing out of my mouth.
Okay. All right. So thinking about all this, what I have seen is I really do. I talk to people and we have a Mastermind Alumni group where year one was last year. They went through a year-long program where once a week we meet. That's uncomfortable, like to have to do that. It's a Zoom call once a week when you're learning, you're setting aside time, you're taking away from whatever else it is you're doing. Once a week we meet, once a month we have a guest speaker, and watching, it's not just 1 week training that does it for people. It wasn't just the audio episode or the color grading episode or the networking or whatever it is. It was the commitment to the year and watching people. Like, we had people record a video of like, where are you at and where do you want to go in your business on week 1. And by the end of it, letting them watch those back or them seeing those, they're like, wow, I've changed so much and I didn't realize it. I've grown so much because I made a commitment, I got uncomfortable, and I took steps each week. And that's why I love something like Mastermind, is because it's just baked in, you making the right decision week after week for a year. But what I was getting to with that is that I've seen so many comments, I don't know if you've seen them in the group because it's still active, of people saying, wow, I just charged the most I ever charged. I just booked the biggest I've ever booked. And they're reaping that benefit a year, almost 7-8 months after now that they've finished Mastermind, and they're still reaping the benefit because they were able to network with 100 or so people, and there's referrals and there's different things like that. And there's just this everlasting, like I think about the first venture I ever went to and meeting people like Darian McCulloch, who's just killing it, who's now a Mastermind member with us or whatever, but she is doing such good work and growing, and it's gotten so much better. And we did a film review for her in our Mastermind the other day, and she made a new teaser, and it just looks so much better already. She's getting better and growing, and it's because she keeps taking steps and keeps investing. And if you ask, this is what I was trying to get to with my long-winded answer or talk here, is if you ask any of these people that are investing into good education, they will tell you it is 1,000% worth it. Not one of them are like, not really worth it. The ones that invested into it and then applied it, those people are the ones that are most like happy.
That's what I was gonna, there might be people that were say, yeah, I invested in it and nothing happened from it. It was because they went through it and they didn't do anything with it. Like, there was no action step that followed the thing, or maybe they're a part of some live coaching thing and they just didn't show up. Like, oh, I'm just here for the free downloads or something like that. They didn't show up. So like, oh, it's not worth it. Find the people that are actively involved in the education thing, and overwhelmingly they will say it's 100% worth it.
Yeah, and that's where I get to, is like, I was so afraid to invest, and we wanted to have this episode while we weren't launching anything, so that and I think people get weird. You said this last week in the podcast, and I think it just needs to be reiterated, is like, we do get paid to create these groups and work and do this. And you said it, it's like, we work as wedding filmmakers and we work hard and we expect to get paid. It's like educators should get paid as well. And I think there's been this stigma around educators because there are some of them that don't know what they're talking about, that just want to make a quick buck. And hopefully you can see with someone like us or Matt Johnson or some of these other people, it's like, we've been doing this now for 5 years. We're not going anywhere. We love helping people. Yep. And we're not just in this like, ooh, we want to just get rich and make so much money off of people. We feel called to help people, and we want to help people. And yeah, we get paid to do it because we're spending 40 hours a week creating free content and doing these free things. But we're not here saying you need to join the things that How to Film Weddings. What we are seeing is, like, I have a lot of photographer friends, and if you notice, photographers, Nick, they get it. When it comes to client gifts, client communications, the way they treat people, and then like the education, they invest money. They set aside money each year and say, I'm going to go to this conference, or I'm going to join this course, or I'm going to whatever. And you can see it. More and more photographers are adding so much more value and getting paid so much more. And everybody's like, why do photographers get paid more? It's because they do a much better job of knowing their worth and getting educated so they can all grow together. And I'm seeing what's so exciting about being, one of the owners here of How to Film Weddings is like, we are catching up as wedding filmmakers. And if you're just sitting on the sideline and not investing into your education, you're falling behind. But there are thousands of people now there's so many new courses coming out with people, and so many new little, audio courses with KEJ, or story courses with Hello Tomorrow, or like those little things, like picking up 1 or 2 of those a year, and like just continuing going to 1 workshop or 2 workshop, like Venture or Vision Quest, or like these kinds of things. It's not just one of them. It's all of that continuing that like helps set you apart, and you'll be like, wow, I can't believe I'm charging this much more, or my films are maybe up for awards or things like that. Nick, I talked a lot. It was flowing out of my mouth. Your turn.
Man, that's a good catchphrase, just flowing out of my mouth.
Yeah. Feels real good. Real good.
Yeah. And again, another thing that just with how our industry is, you brought up the point about our Mastermind alumni and how here we are as we're recording this in September of 22. They joined it in January of 21, and they went through it through a year. So they haven't been a part of Mastermind for 9 months. Okay. But just now, what is that? 18 months later, 20 months later, after joining, they are really starting to reap the benefits of those things. We, as the wedding industry, it's almost like we are 8 to 12 months behind what's happening, because you have couples that you booked a year ago that now today you're like, you know what, this isn't the type of couple that I want to work with. And so you kind of have to do some course correcting, or you learn today, oh, this is what I want to do, but you have a backlog and there's, people. So there's just it takes a while to course correct that ship just with the industry that we worked with. And so, people that are saying, oh, I just booked my biggest package ever. This is incredible. I can't wait. It takes a minute. And that's another thing with the education is you can get it, but you have to take those steps. And, back to the crockpot model that John and I have talked about since day one of this podcast, this is one of those things that you have to slowly and steadily do it, or it's not going to take effect. Mm-hmm. And I think that, again, this Amazon, these ads that I'm getting, or our fast food society, or our microwave society, we want it right now. Oh, I bought John and Nick's course, and I didn't book a $5,000 wedding like instantly, so their course must suck. People might have that. But then again, if you continually put in that effort over time, going to the gym one time doesn't matter. Going to the gym 3 times a week for 6 months, that matters. So it's that consistency thing over time. So
no, Nick, I really do. I do think that this conversation is very necessary as we're, releasing this in September. Thinking through what you're going to do next year, or, maybe what education as we get into the fall, into the winter for, us here in the States, a lot of us, it calms down, and that's usually a really good time to really be thinking about your next year's budget and how what you're going to do. Maybe it is really start to plan to be part of our mastermind group and join that, or maybe, you plan on going to a couple of conferences or whatever, but if you're not pre-planning that out, it's just not going to happen. I don't know if you noticed or not, Nick, but you don't just like go to the gym if you haven't like made it you haven't figured it out. I've talked about that a lot on the podcast. It's not like Tom Brady wins a Super Bowl and like looks up and is like, well, wait, how the heck did I get here?
Do this? Yeah.
It's a very intentional plan. And if we can get one thing through to you today, is that there is a lasting value in investing your dollars into educating yourself, into growing yourself, into helping yourself network, going to in-person events, these workshops like Venture or Vision Quest or WPPI or any of these Engage, things like that. It's like really investing into that. If you invest into stuff like that, you are going to be a better person, and the lasting implications of that, the ripple effect of that, is never ending. The people that did our mastermind group or have purchased our course are continually booking higher and higher quality clients. They're like I talked about at the beginning of this episode, just how the couples I'm working with are my ideal couples. That's almost worth more than anything to me, is just working with people that I love being around, and that they respect what I do and they love what I do, and they're happy to pay me, these large numbers to give them a service that they can't get anywhere else. And so if that's one thing you take away, is like, look at your calendar for next year, look at your budget and say, what can I do? What is uncomfortable for me to do to invest into myself into my brand. Even if you're part-time, you know, if you're full-time, whatever it is, like, you need to be out there connecting with other wedding filmmakers, other vendors, and you need to be investing into you, continuing education. And that is the one thing that wedding filmmakers are continually missing. So are you going to be one of those filmmakers that continues to just do whatever, take whatever clients, take whatever you can get? Or are you going to start taking intentional steps so that 8 months, 12 months, 18 months, whatever down the road, you start to reap that benefit? Nick, anything else you want to add? You probably want to plug that live stream again.
Yes, yes. So again, John and I believe as educators that education. Let me start that over a little bit because words are difficult sometimes.
Words are
John
hard.
and I John, as educators, John and I believe that education is important for your business and how you grow and how you shoot, all that stuff. Obviously, How to Film Weddings has a ton of resources. If you go to our website, howtofilmweddings.com, we have stuff for free like our podcast. We have our Facebook group, howtofilmweddings.com/community. We also have bunches of templates and courses and all that kind of stuff. If you want to go over there and support us, great. We thank you so much for that. Or there is tons of other stuff. David Reynoso with Forestry, Matt Johnson, White and Reverie, Hello Tomorrow, KEJ. They all have education stuff that they're putting out there. Wedding Film School, Make Better Wedding Films.
Wedding films. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, podcast. Okay, there's lots of stuff out there. So if you don't want to support us and you don't want that, that's fine. Get it from somewhere else. Like, that's the thing that we have always wanted to do, is we wanted to be a pusher of raising the wedding film industry. We want to make it better. And if you get that from us, great. If you get it from someone else, great. Like, we want the industry to get better because it helps all of us. So that's my plug for education there at the end. The last thing that I want to say to you, remind you of Film Reviews, brand new thing that we're doing this Thursday as of recording this. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/film review, fill out the form, answer all the questions. You got to answer all the questions and be truthful. What are you doing over there, John?
You'll have to just watch on YouTube. Yeah,
I guess you will. Fill out that form, howtofilmweddings.com/film reviews, and then we will notify you if your video has been selected, so you know ahead of time, so you don't have to just sit there and wait for your film to possibly show up. We will let you know for sure. So that's the thing. We are really excited about that. This is something that John and I and Blake and Austin and everyone on our team have been talking about for months, for quite a long time, and we're really excited to get it going. And Blake is going to do some cool stuff on the screen. He's actually doing a test with it right now, so it'll be fun. Anyway, John, it has been great to hang out with you. Blake, thanks so much for chiming in. Everyone, thank you for listening, and until next time, we'll see ya.
See ya.
Are you looking for a better way to deliver your wedding films to your couples? Look no further. Our friends over at WedFlow provide the most flexible video delivery solution on the market. WedFlow is pay per project with no large upfront cost or commitment, and you can cancel anytime. Not only that, WedFlow offers a premium viewing experience for your couples. Accessible on mobile, tablet, desktop, as well as their very own suite of TV apps. Each project comes with 10 years hosting and an experience for your clients that will blow them away. Stop delivering your films the old-fashioned way and give your couples something to rave about. Head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/wedflow to check out WedFlow today.